Hi, vinyl community. How you doing? I'm doing a handheld video clip this time around. This is sort of a Beatles post. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm going to do kind of an overview because I got so much stuff. So many albums. I'm not even going to touch the 45s, but I'm going to go through just to show you how I've got things cataloged, the order that I've got, and what I've got up in the racks. Maybe pull a few things out, but I got one hand on the camera, so I can only do so much, so to yank things out. And I already tried this once, and a lot of times I was pointing at something and the camera was pointing somewhere else, so I've got to be real careful to look through the viewfinder when I turn to the viewfinder. But anyway, you know, the famous Expedit bookshelves here that are perfect for LPs. We got most everybody's got them. Not everybody, but most everybody, and good reason why. Anyway, this is a lot of Beatles right in here. Now let me show you what's up with how I've got it organized and what I've got to show. And another post, I'll actually have a handful of things that are kind of like favorite things that I'll pull out and hold up and pull out and take a look at it. Anyway, on the first few shelves here, I can look through the viewfinder now. The first few shelves here are pretty much reference books. Variety of books that I just want to reach up and grab if I want to, you know, find something out, something's bugging my mind, or I'm looking at something online and trying to figure out just what is what and what is accurate and who did what when. This is a great series of books right here by Bruce Spicer. A lot of these are out of print now, but if you can get them, get them. They're great for reference. Highly recommended. I think he's just got a website. If you just search for Bruce Spicer, S-P-I-Z-E-R, you'll find his website, and you can order books from there, what books there are left. And Amazon's got them too, but a lot of them that have gone out of print, big money. Anyway, first rack up here at the top shelf. First off, above, at the beginning, this isn't very well organized, just a lot of book boxes up here. There's a CD box, Canadian CD box of the 87 pressings of the Beatles albums in one of those wooden roll top boxes. And next to that is the Beatles, well, there's a couple of boxes there with other things, but those two big boxes there, brown boxes, one is the John Lennon box of Vision, and the other is the Beatles box of Vision, which haven't been officially unboxed yet. And I got a few other things up here, but a couple of Beatle-related items, but not all. Back down here is kind of where everything starts. This is a nice LP divider that I got back, probably must have been 83, or 84, probably 83. From Record Store. I use that to sort of start things off. Know where the Beatles start. The first bit here are the original Capitol label in various stages of quality. Most of them pretty good. Some of them very good quality. Here's one thing. I think if you saw my introductory video, I showed that as being the first LP I ever owned, and it's trashed, and that's because I got it for my birthday when I was, I think, 4 years old or something. So, but I'm so glad I've still got it. And again, these are all the original Capitol label. Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of Sgt. Pepper on the original Capitol label. Some are mono, some are stereo, all in varying qualities. Some are great quality, great condition. Most of them have the original inner sleeves, as well as the cutouts. And then we've got Magical Mystery Tour. I think I've got an original mono. Yeah, right there it says mono of that in the U.S. So that's kind of nice to have. And then it goes. I told myself I would never start collecting all the various label variations, but then I started realizing that, well, you know, I got a couple on Apple, I got a couple on the Orange, so. Yeah, I've been trying to fill in the gaps. And then we start going over here, we start getting into the Apple labels. And then we get into the Orange labels. And then over here we get into the purple labels, including one of the purple label white album I have here is on white vinyl. I'll pull that out one of these days and show it. And then the revived original rainbow label that they revived in the 80s. So I've got a lot of things on that. I've been filling that in quite a bit. Then after that comes, well, a lot of albums that sort of were released after their core their core album collection after Let It Be. Here's 5 copies of the Red Album. I don't need 5 copies of the Red Album. They just I just find them and I bring them home and I forget I already had one, and then I forgot I already had two, then I forgot I already had three. But they are in different labels. Oddly enough, I don't have a red on the original Apple label, but I do have a red vinyl copy, which is nice. So I only have one copy of the Blue album on the American Capitol, and it's in so-so condition. Need to upgrade that. Rock and roll music, Hollywood Bowl, just all kinds of different love songs, all the different things that came out. Some promo material here. I'll pull those out and show them. I also, in the 80s, late 80s, when vinyl was starting to go bye-bye and CDs were taking over, I thought, we're not going to be able to get Beatle vinyl one of these days. So I bought a whole handful of things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 original, well, not original, but the 80s, the last pressings of the Beatles album, early Beatles albums. I focused mainly on the ones that were unique to the United States. And I bought those, left them sealed, so they're there. Jumping over here, Mobile Fidelities, a couple individually out of the box, and a handful of them that just were released with the full album artwork, as opposed to what was released inside the Mobile Fidelity box. I don't have a Mobile Fidelity box. I'd love to get one. I just, they're not getting any cheaper, but I just can't afford one right now. I've never been able to afford one. Then we start getting into international releases. Australia, Canada. It's a Dutch release of the Blue Box. Interesting, of the Dutch release of the Blue Box that came out in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, I think is when the Blue Box came out. 79, early 79, or late 78, something like that. The original Dutch box here doesn't have the flip top up top. You have to open it up like a book. You have to lay it down on its back and then open it like it's a big coffee table book to have access to all the LPs. The flip top makes much more sense. But it was just the original Dutch Blue Box that had the opening that it's like a book, like a big coffee table book. Also, the other thing unique to the Dutch box is the White Album has a number on it. None of the other Blue Boxes that I've read about have a number on the White Album. But this isn't stamped either. It's not like a printed number. It's actually inscribed into the laminate. You have to hold it at a certain angle to see that there's a number sort of etched into the White Album, kind of where the number originally was. So that's interesting. And then we start with German pressings. Back in the early 80s, I was listening to some friends' German pressings, and they were going on about how good they were, how warm they sounded, how they had a nice warm tube sound, and I agreed. And so I went out and started buying some of the German pressings where I could find them. And I've been lately beefing up my collection of the German pressings here. So I got a good handful of the German Beatles releases. And then we start going into the original UK. I've got original With the Beatles, Help, Rubber Soul, original Sgt. Pepper, 2 mono copies, one with the wide spine. Not the greatest condition, but you're going to pay a lot of money if you want a wide spine in spectacular condition. And then some more UK here, just a later label, later pressing. And then Hard Day's Night, Help. These are like 70s or 80s reissues of the UK's. Oops, sorry about that. I got to look through the viewfinder. Pointing to the wrong place. And then same thing. More UK. This is... I should have had this out. The box. Where's the box? Oh, it's neatly put away. But these are nice. This is the Liverpool box. And they had taken their entire catalog and kind of condensed it down into 8 LPs. And they have different photos on each one representing a different era. Well, kind of representing a different era. They took their entire catalog and they condensed it into 8 LPs instead of, 13, 14, including the double album of the White Album. And then they released them in a box called a Liverpool box. And I just have those out separately, and the box shell itself is up above here, wrapped up. Got to change hands here. Ugh. Let's see. Oh, look, another Red Album. But this is a British pressing, so it's okay. Now, this one is on... Oh, this is the red vinyl. Okay. I thought I had a US red vinyl. Maybe I do have a US red vinyl, but I've got a UK red vinyl, which is kind of nice. I don't even know what I have. Here's the Love Songs on UK pressing. Not a lot of light here, sorry. But some 12 inches that came out. And then I started catching up. I went through that period I stopped buying vinyl. What? Stopped buying vinyl, you say? Yes, I stopped buying vinyl for a while. And then I had to go back and catch up. So I've got a UK copy of the Past Masters here, and BBC. I have Anthology 2 and 3. I do not have Anthology 1. That's one that's on my list to get at a decent price. I did nab a couple copies of Yellow Submarine soundtrack, and what's nice is that this is the one on the yellow vinyl. I haven't opened those up yet. I'm keeping them nice and sealed, but I do have a black vinyl play copy that I recently picked up. These are not the red albums. These are 2 copies of the Beatles 1 album, UK pressings. Let It Be Naked, Love, and then there's just a bunch of odds and ends type things that I sort of threw at the end here. One being a very cool album, and I will pull this out. I should feature it later on so I can show it to you more carefully, but this is a neat little album called The Songs Lennon and McCartney Gave Away by the original artists. And a lot of the songs, I've never heard a Beatle version of them at all, not even a demo. It would make a wonderful lost Beatle album if they could find some kind of recording for each one of those. Now, some of those have been found. They have found demos of some of those recordings, and they've come out. I don't know how, I don't know where, but they've come out. If there are demos of those, it would be great to compile a new Beatles album and put it out there, even if it's just the demos. It would have been great if they had done their versions of it, but, anyway. So, let's see. Then we hop down here. Oh, it's not over with yet, folks. These are the Japanese pressings I have. And in the 70s, they started with, and I'll just sort of jump ahead to these, they started with a series of Japanese pressings that they put numbers to. They were sort of done by, what country they were from. And so they all have a nice British flag. Now, these I'm missing the obies on, but I've been told that they exist somewhere. I got these first couple from a friend of mine when he was giving up his vinyl collection. So I do have the obies for those. He just has to find them, and then I'll have them on. But these 2 I picked up from him, and they don't have them. This one as well, so these 3. I picked up another copy of Hard Day's Night here, and it does have the OB that shows you the UK flag, and then it says number 3, third album that they released. And these are all UK variations, the UK releases, but they're pressed in Japan. 4th one, Beatles for Sale. It just keeps right on going up through the catalog. 9, Sgt. Pepper, and I have it all the way up through and including Let It Be number 13, and of course Abbey Road is 12, even though Abbey Road should be 13 and Let It Be should be 12, but they do it by release date. So I had that core collection. I'm missing out, that's the copy of, I'm missing out the copy of Yellow Submarine. So I got to find that. It pops up every now and then on eBay, and one of these days I just got to nab it when it's a good quality or good price for the quality. Then I can finish out the core collection for that. Here is another red album. Yay! You can't have enough of these. These are kind of tough to find, these Japanese. See, they just continued to issue these in order as they were being released. So here's volume 14 and 15, red and blue. And then volume 16, they decided to release, here's the American variation. Let's put out the American variation. When I first bought these, I thought, great, they're going to be the American versions. But no, they're not. They don't have the reverb. They don't have the American mastering. They took the UK tracks, the UK masters they were given of the individual songs, and then they just put them in the order of the US albums. But they're still pretty cool. So, we're up to 16. I'm missing out 17, which is the Beatles' second album. Tough one to find, but there are a number of them that are tough to find. So I skipped from 20 to 23. I got to find 21 and 22 somewhere. So I've been beefing these up. Here's Hey Jude, but it's missing the obi. I got to find one with the obi one of these days. Here's an odd one. It's Meet the Beatles. Same cover as the U.S., but it's got a Japanese flag on it. So it's a Japanese issue that they did way back when of the American version of the album. Interesting. So anyway, then more and more of those. To jump back here a little bit, I was lucky enough to pick up a few of the red vinyl mono issues. One here of Revolver, Help, Beatles for Sale, and With the Beatles. So those are kind of nice to have. Again, I shouldn't be going into so much detail here, but because it's kind of wonky to be holding this and try to show you guys. And then recently they put out a new series. Sorry about that. They put out a new series just a few years ago. They re-released the catalog in Japan, and I nabbed a good handful of those. I got almost all of the core collection here except for the first album, so I need to find that. And then I have a big empty box here. This is sort of my right-hand box. This is where I plan on putting current things I'm going to show in in upcoming posts, and just new items that I bought. And also it's a little room for expansion because I know I'll be buying more Beatles stuff because I'm just going to. Another box full of Beatle things here. John Lennon. This is sort of where the solo stuff starts. This is a John Lennon box set. Has all of his albums in it. This is something I've always been looking for, and finally got a copy of it at a really good price. And over here we got John Lennon solo work, the solo albums, original solo albums, some UK versions, Mobile Fidelities, and then some recent RSD releases. This is the box set of For Imagine that they put out on Black Friday. And then we get over here to Yoko Ono, several Yoko Ono albums. I need to buy some more Yoko Ono albums. And then we jump down here, and we've got all kinds of Paul McCartney stuff and solo material. More Paul McCartney, more Paul McCartney, more Paul McCartney. These are the CD boxes or books that have come out for the reissues. And then George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Traveling Wilburys box, Ringo Starr. And, oh yeah, I have one of these. Actually, I've got two of these, but I'll feature them in an upcoming post. Those of you who know what this is, you know what this is. Those of you who aren't sure or don't know, I'll tell you about it in an upcoming post. But that's pretty much my Beatles vinyl, 12-inch Beatles vinyl. So I'm going to leave it there and say goodbye for now. I'm exhausted standing up and doing all that. And I hope you are able to tolerate me jiggling the camera around. Anyway, take care, and I'll be doing a more succinct post on just a handful of really cool things that I like from my Beatles collection. And 45s, like I said, 45s, I didn't even touch 45s, but I got a ton of 45s as well. So anyway, take care, and talk to you later. Bye. Second earthquake.